Welcome to the show, everyone. You know, I always tell people to talk to everyone within 3 feet of you about what you do. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's what we do right through the radio to everybody out there. And I'm excited about bringing on my first guest because, you know what, he is, not only is he all about advocating for seniors and helping them, he just got through telling me that he's been talking his head off, the way I'm saying it, talking his head off because he has a message. You are on a mission. I have with me Scott Fischer. He is the owner of Options for Senior Living. We're live on Facebook, so I do want to say hi to everybody out there. And everyone listen up. This is something that everyone who has a senior, is involved with a senior, whatever it is, please, they need to hear this.
Yeah, they do. I sure appreciate being here again. This is always fun.
Thank you.
For me to come in and talk and share what we're doing in the world to hopefully impact families and our aging friends in a real positive way.
Now, one of the things that we wanted to focus on today was falling.
Yeah.
Right? I just told you. I mean, I have a mother-in-law I had a mother-in-law that was falling, not saying anything. We talked a little bit about how people do that, right? And she fell enough times. Now she passed away.
Right,
Okay, that's
right.
really sad. But the fact is that so many people fall in their homes, and what has to happen when that happens if they don't have anybody there or living in an assisted living place?
Yeah, it is really an epidemic in our community. You know, as we are aging as a community, falling is inevitable. You can't prevent it all, but we can sure mitigate, reduce the risk, make our environment safer, get the right resources for our loved ones in their environments so that we can hopefully reduce and mitigate the extent of the injuries or damage that's done. I served on a committee, Carol, back in about 2016, I got invited at the State Attorney General's office, and they were forming and organizing a group they called the Health and Safety Committee. It was the AG's effort to analyze and look at what's going on in the population for Arizonans on what are the health risks to aging Arizonans. And it didn't take a lot of deep research to figure it out, but what came out of that was all this work that we've been now involved in with the cities and such, because our first responders in our cities are in the front line of responding to the people that are hurt. But the issues that were identified, falling and the increased incidence of dementia, particularly Alzheimer's disease, were the two major focuses of that group for, I was in that group 5 or 6 years, really until the pandemic kind of derailed it and the director moved to another state. But it really, the work we did for years was all focused on just these issues, particularly the issue of falling and its impact on the community.
Well, I have to talk about you.
Well,
First of all, when you talk with Scott, he'll see right away how passionate you are about the seniors. You've been doing this since what time? When did you start?
2003, we opened the business.
You opened the business, but you also went to school.
Oh, I got out of nursing school in 1986.
Mm-hmm. And you know, when it comes to, first of all, if you need any resources, he is the man for you to talk to. And if you have a senior, if you are maybe taking care of, you know, you have said many, many times that you'll go to a house and you'll talk to the people there, and they're the ones that are already caretaking, and they don't even realize it, right?
Right.
But he is here for all seniors to help them. Maybe you might even let them stay in their home for a little while, but then you're there, and when people call you the most, when is it?
When it's too late.
When it's too late.
When they could have called us earlier before
It's
the
so
crisis.
sad, and this is his mission in life, and he helps so many people. I see you all over, you know, social media and stuff like that. But that's what he's trying to do, is make everybody aware.
Right.
I think that's the biggest word here.
It's our number one mission is to extend ourselves and bring resources and awareness to the adult kids and to the seniors themselves. Sometimes families don't live in the same community. Well, I'm fortunate enough to live next to my mother, but it was only after I moved mom here that we lived in the same state.
Mhm.
A lot of families
Most people don't.
are not together here. So you have spouses looking out for their better half that is now starting to experience some challenges or memory care issues and things like that. Kids are not in state, they're not seeing their families on a regular basis. We've got a big, as the season is getting upon us, the holidays are coming. You know when we get the busiest? After the kids have come to Phoenix to see their mom and dad a lot of times. So you're gonna see a lot of messaging from us over the next few months about, as you are seeing your parents maybe for the first time since last holiday season, hey, there could be some changes. Let us know how we can get
and you notice it right away.
You do?
And you know what, especially if you don't see them for a while, when you are with them a lot, you don't really see the changes as much.
That's right.
But when you don't, and you come in town and you see that there's some things kind of seem a little odd, I remember seeing my mother-in-law, it was summertime, wearing a sweater covering her arms and her hands. I thought a little bit about it, but I didn't say anything, because I'm now the ex, so, I was really careful. But, honestly, these are the things you need to be aware of, and don't wait. This is the other thing. Well, first of all, with Scott, when you have this conversation, this is a free service to the people. I do not understand why, when it's free, has nothing to do, you are helping them get to the next step. It's another journey.
Human nature, Carol, hates to admit that we are failing or we need help. It triggers the shame response in a lot of people. It triggers the idea that I'm less than, or I'm not capable, so I'm going to keep it to myself. One of the things my mom, I've told you this before too, my mom is in assisted living, and we still give her as much room and much authority in her own life as we can. We have to, right? But at the same time, when she doesn't let my brothers and I know what's changing or what's going on, now we're backed into a corner and we get into a crisis situation. And it's very simple to let us in sooner, but she doesn't want to be a burden, and she doesn't like to admit that she's having stuff going on. And so
they're very proud.
Most families are feeling some versions of both of those
Absolutely.
stories.
You have to know that era, if they're in their 80s, 90s, right in there, they're very proud people.
They survived the end of the Depression, and they survived World War II. And that's a hard.
They always say the same thing, I'm fine. But you know what, honestly, when they say that, they're not, and they need your help, and all you have to do is call this number, 602-845-1320. He works valley-wide. He's A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. He's been nominated for the Ethics Award with the Better Business Bureau, which is very hard to get. And let me just tell you, you've started different organizations. It's all about the seniors and how he advocates for you all. Do not wait. Do not put this number in your phone, and because it usually happens like all of a sudden, right? Something happens. They go to the hospital, and the next thing you know, it's like, oh my God.
Well, there's so many times that families think it comes on suddenly, and it's really been happening subtly.
For sure.
And there's a lot of subtle things that are going on. And I do a talk called "Storm Clouds on the Horizon," and it's really the metaphor of how those subtle things are happening as adult children. Please be attuned to those things. As a spouse, be attuned to those things, because if you're starting to have those things pop up with frequency or regularity, likely a bigger issue.
And you know what happens? Everything you worked for, everything you wanted turns upside down, and it just turns into a mess. Where he can come in and he can do it's a free service to you, and have him come in and do an assessment, find out what's going on, and then after the break, we're gonna tell you what he does. It's 602-845-1320. It's optionsforseniorliving.com. We're going to keep on talking because we're still live in the room. Am I doing okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That just blew right by.
I know, didn't it? And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just want to talk about how you place people and how you do that real quickly, and then I just want to focus here.
Okay.
Because it is going by really fast for some reason. So, but yeah, I think that when especially the ones that are living by themselves and they're getting to that point where they definitely shouldn't be.
Yep.
If you're not living at home,
Yep.
and some people don't have any communication,
Right.
right? I mean, or very little. You know, in my family, when I was growing up, I must have talked to my mom 40 times a day. You know, just call her up, hey mom, oh this happened, hey mom, you know, whatever. Well, it's different now, and I've met people that I never because that was how I thought everybody was, but they're not.
Mm-mm.
Then I met somebody one time, and my daughters asked me to ask why they don't talk to all the time, you know? And they said, well, we're not in their, our grandmother's back pocket all the time, we don't do that. But she's 80-something years old and she's living alone, how could you not call, you know? That's me,
Yeah.
that's me.
Yeah.
Or find out what's going on, how are you doing, at least a call like that.
Yeah.
But you know what? They're not,
They're
people are
not.
not. And
Yeah.
I think out of sight, sometimes out of mind.
Yeah, agreed.
Sad.
The number of families that have issues and estrangement in them is really profound. And so you have a lot of ambivalence and still unresolved glunk inside families for sure. My family's got a lot of glunk in it, my brothers and I and mom. Our dad's passed, but there's unresolved stuff. And so when that gets entangled into what we're trying to do and then the glunk gets going, if it's financial requirements or financial demands, how do the kids help, or where do they do help, where they don't help? Everybody, my brothers, all three of my brothers and I, we all have a different level of tolerance for how much financial pain we can take on for mom.
That's another story.
Well, that's a whole other story. And I got brothers that say, nope. I say brother that goes a little. I have a brother who's a surgeon that can do it all, but is mad at the other two brothers that don't do much or anything. And then I'm here, and they're all out of state.
You have only brothers, or do you have a sister?
I have all three brothers.
Oh, wow.
No, I wish we had a sister.
Yeah, because that would be help a lot. A woman's touch.
Yeah, it'd be nice. My wife gets to be
Yes,
the dog.
that's right.
She runs front and center.
Wow, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So welcome back, everyone. You know, I always say that during the show, when we're on our break, we always keep on talking in here because we're on Facebook Live, and that's really neat to come, you know, that we do that. So I get to learn a little bit more too as we're talking, and it's amazing. I want you to tell everybody really exactly what you do,
Sure.
because we were talking about how they should call, you know, before a crisis happens. Now tell them why.
The reason being is that there's a lot of times in families' journey that senior just can't stay home safely any longer, and so we intersect the family at that point in time. We help families assess, evaluate, and select the right long-term care solution when their loved one can't stay home any longer. It's a service that's free to the families. We're compensated by contractual relationships with hundreds of senior living providers all over the city. We work primarily in Maricopa County with a little extension out into the far east valley, like Santan Valley, down to Florence, Coolidge. We make some reach, Gold Canyon, that kind of stuff, but predominantly in Maricopa County. And so families have been finding us and using our help for over 20 years.
20
to
years.
Figure out, yeah.
And you know, when you're seeing these little things that start happening, that is the time to call and find out. Now he could do it as assessment.
Right.
You could see right away, you know, kind of where they're at.
Yep.
And then you can talk to them and tell them where, because you probably know right away. You walk in, you can talk to somebody, and you probably know a good place that you might be even thinking about for them.
We do, and yet there's a lot of fear. When I walk in the room, there's a lot of fear from the senior themselves that we're gonna put them somewhere, you know?
Oh yeah, that's
and,
wow.
And so based on what we
Did I
talk
say that? I
about,
probably did. I'm sorry.
I told you never want to put me in one of them places, but
Right.
the spouses will say to each other.
Right.
What we really want to do is get in and talk to you sooner before, as I say, you know, talk to us before the crisis. If staying at home is your primary objective, we're great with that. We want to get you the right resources, the right tools, the right technology.
To stay.
There is some amazing technology advances that we have time to talk about, but we can get some pretty inexpensive resources in the house that will allow someone to stay safely at home or with some additional monitoring for a longer period of time.
And then you just take your time.
And then we're here
when-
for you when the time
Exactly.
comes. Yeah.
You always say our family, because you know your family
Yep.
works all together. It's a family-owned business. Our family is here for your family.
That's our thing.
That's
Yeah,
their
That's
thing.
our thing.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about you are being doing these educational events. They're free events, and it's all about when we talk about falling. When the
Mhm.
number one thing, stay safe at home. So he's even saying that right there. So let's talk about them and what's going on. I want to make sure I get it all out there for
You
you.
bet. So years ago, I dedicated my work, my life to 3 points: education, advocacy, and knowing the best resources in town to be able to guide people towards the eventual things that a lot of people need to be placed. So we make a living doing the placement thing, but this commitment to education has been part of front and center for me for years. I've spoken for churches and faith groups and community groups and national organizations. And the idea is that if we can help you stay safely at home, there is a significant burden now being placed on the city governments. Our first responders are running all over creation. Tens of thousands of lift assist calls will be made this year from Scottsdale, Phoenix, Chandler, Tempe, I mean, from all of the valley. And so we are partnering with the cities to be a resource. They want to be helpful, but they are not the emergency department, right? We have to equip our families, equip our seniors with the right resources so that we can navigate this aging thing. It's coming whether we want aging to happen.
Right, but the
It's-
falling can be eliminated.
It could be negated, it could be reduced.
Reduce is a better
Yeah.
word, reduce. Because
Gravity
anybody
always
falls.
wins. We never get to turn off gravity, but
That
people are
is
gonna go
true.
down.
But at least if you get in the house and you have like, you know, bars or things
Right.
like that, or, you know, when you look around and you see there's, you know, the throw rugs or things like that, you know, I
If
mean,
you
what do you talk about when you're in the,
Well, when I go into a house, those are the things I'm looking for. I'm
Exactly.
looking for risk factors that are in the house. I'm also asking, what's your level of activity? When's the last time you walked to the mailbox? When's the last time you took a walk around the block? And if the most of the walking they're doing is from their bedroom to their power chair to the refrigerator, those quadricep and gluteus maximus, those muscles get weak. And so what happens when we
Yeah.
fall is that we don't have the leg strength
That's
to
what
balance
it is.
this anymore. Our core strength goes down when I'm just leaning back in my big chair all day long watching the TV. So there's simple things we can adjust and adapt to so that we can help our seniors and loved ones stay safe.
So, November is going to
November.
be kind of fun. You've got several of these events, and again, they're free.
Yep.
Wednesday, November 5th, it's at the Embassy Suites Biltmore, and that's in Phoenix.
That's right.
Then we have two events that are going to happen on November 13th. Now, one is going to be on they're going to be both on the 13th. One is at 9 to 11, and that's at Property Owners and Residents Association Center in Sun City West. Sun City West. And then we have the other one that's in the afternoon from 1:30 to 3 at Mustang Library in Scottsdale. Then on the 19th of November, they're going to have at the Chandler Tumbleweed Recreation Center. That's going to be from 3:30 to 5. They're all over. We're going to start talking about this. You're going to hear ads about it because we want people to get educated and become more aware about this.
You bet. If you are a Facebook person, follow seniorresourceconnectors.com or Senior Resource Connectors. That's our education company. Options for Senior Living is our placement agency. They'll be all over that. We have a Facebook group. If you're an adult child and you're hearing my voice and you're doing caregiving and you're involved in your parents' life, we have a private Facebook group set up specifically for you. We call that the Aging Parent Tribe in Phoenix.
I'm a friend of that.
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
and there's a lot of great information, a lot of great dialogue that caregivers share their stories with us, Carol. It's a chance for us to connect them to the right resources. We can just help them air out what they're feeling and their frustrations and
I
help
think that's a
provide them hope. So
wonderful
we've got about 500 members. I'd love, if you're hearing my voice right now, jump in there and ask to be a part of that conversation. The Aging Parent Tribe. we are just all about getting the word to the people that are feeling the pain of this.
And getting resources, I think that's what's so important, because when all of this starts happening, you have so many questions, you don't know where to go. This is what I love about this show, is it offers people to hear things like this, and we know we have a big, huge senior population, and most of the baby boomers now are taking care of that senior group.
Yep.
And there's like a ton of them now, right?
There is 160,000 80-year-olds in Maricopa County. There's 1 million people already over the age of 65. By the year 2030, there will be more people 65 than 18.
You know what, here's the deal.
And that's just why, that's really the truth of it.
That's huge.
Yeah.
But we do know, I'm gonna say this, there's a lot of 80-year-olds that are out there, they're active, they're doing great, and it's wonderful, because we are staying alive a little bit longer, right, because they're doing that, they're helping us being able to do that. But we still have the people who are sick, right, who are, like you said, they're aging and just getting that dementia, right, and they're home, they're alone, and they need to be helped.
Right.
Right?
Right. There's a deep desire in most people's hearts to remain independent, remain in their home. That's a kind of a
Everybody
core,
wants that.
right?
We
That's
know
a core thing. But the pandemic taught us something, and the pandemic said isolation kills too. Isolation kills.
It's the worst thing.
Without socialization,
We're
without
supposed to be with people.
We're supposed to touch people.
Right.
And so for some people, congregate living, we call congregate living like senior living, for those people that aren't getting anywhere and they're just holed up in their house, congregate living is a lifeline. That socialization, that eating with somebody else, that somebody just smiling at you and saying, "Hi, it's good to see you today, Ruthie."
Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff makes such a difference in how people, I'm convinced, my mom lived in a very active, over 55 apartment complex for a long time. When she moved to Phoenix, her health was bad, but she was only like 70. So for years she lived with a bunch of other active folks that were always doing stuff, they were checking on each other. That level of involvement with her friends, that touch with all those others, helped her recover from a lot of chronic illness and live a much longer, better
That's
life.
awesome.
And I know it's because of those friends that she was around every day.
I will say this to you, do not wait. This is the first thing. Please be aware that falling is probably very high on the list
It's
of the number one. And I just seen somebody go through it, and I'll tell you something, if you call now and have that conversation, it's a free service to you. You don't have to do anything right now even. You can just start, let's have that conversation, let him do an assessment, let's see where they're at, and then we can go from there. Because when you don't, when they start falling really bad and they get septic wounds, and you don't realize what happens to old people, it's really, really, really sad. And it's not only sad, it's awful on you. On you, it's sad for them, but it's also really hard on
Absolutely.
you. Call them. Their phone number is 602-845-1320. You can check them out, and all the information is going to be on the website, which is optionsforseniorliving.com.